Okay, I guess we're ready to go. I think we're live. Let me just do some hands. Oh, yep, we're good. All right, we're just going to give people a few minutes to get here. Okay, I see Mary Lou's here. Hi, Mary Lou. You got in a little bit faster this time. Okay, we're going to just give a few more minutes because I know that we have 6 people booked to come, so we'll just kind of give it a few more minutes. I thought I was going to be late getting here. My puppy decided he wanted to cuddle, and I said I don't have time to cuddle right now. You'll just have to wait. So, hi, Barb. Thanks for coming. Hope it's not too snowy down there in Dorchester land. Okay, we're waiting for a couple more people. I just want to give them a couple minutes. Hi, Janet. Thanks for being here. Okay, I think we're going to get started. We'll go slow in the beginning, and then some other people can come in if they like. Welcome to my Sunday Snapshot. I'm Sharon Ings, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Ontario, Canada. Now, Sunday Snapshot happens every Sunday at 3:30. And, oh, there's my hubby on. He's going to monitor for me here. It's then uploaded to my YouTube within a couple of days afterwards. So, and Art Inks Creations is my YouTube channel. So I finally figured out how to get the Facebook Lives onto the video on YouTube, which was good. So our Sunday Snapshots right now are using the products from the mini catalog and the celebration catalog. And today we're going to be using one called, it's on page 40 if you have your catalog handy, and it's called Amazing Silhouettes. And this is actually a free stamp set that we got, hi Janet, that we got as demos when we went to on stage last time. And I didn't really like it, to be totally honest. I looked at it and thought, what on earth am I going to do with that? I'm not a fan of kind of abstract looking stamps. But anyways, I decided to challenge myself to see if I could do something with it because I thought, what's the point in having it? And I wanted to do something that I wasn't comfortable with. So I did go on to Pinterest and have a look to see what other people had done. And a lot of people had stamped it and put it in the center of a die cut piece and made a card with it. And it looked really pretty, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. So without further ado, this is, oh, I'm sorry. And we're also going to be using the dies from this as well. That was a bundle that came together. So this is the card that we're doing today. That's my little envelope that I made to go with it. And this is the dies, which are silhouetted, which is really kind of nice. And I liked those from the beginning when I saw them, because I do like die cut sentiments. So this one is made with Gorgeous Grape and Fresh Frieza. But today I thought that we would do, I'm going to leave that one sitting up there so you can still see it, but I thought we would do some different colors. Same card, but we're just going to use a couple of different colors just to give you some options and show you different ways that you can do it. And one of the things that you'll notice when we're doing this today, one of our previous Facebook Lives was on masking. And this is the opposite of masking. We're not going to do any masking today. We're going to let those colors blend in together. Okay? So the colors we're going to be using today are Misty Moonlight and Balmy Blue. Now play with this. If you decide to get this stamp or you have this stamp, just play with it, because you'll find that some colors will look nice together, some colors won't look nice together. But I wanted to try these. And look, isn't this kind of interesting? Jamie did my nails today, and I don't know why, I just decided to pick blue. And that was before we even started, so it works out kind of nice. Anyways, okay, so what you need to start with are the die cuts, the Amazing Thanks die cuts, and we're going to be using the thanks today. So I'm just going to pull that out of there. This one says, thanks. You are amazing. But you can actually do thank you by cutting off the end of the thanks, and you'll see with one of the samples that that's what I've done. So we need the actual word itself and the background piece. So we'll pull those out of there. Let's get these out of the way for the moment. And then we're going to be using the tree from the Amazing Silhouette Stamps. I also did the leaves on the envelope, but for now we'll take the tree. We'll just take the leaves out too, and then we'll have them out here when we need them. Now, I did use my Stamparatus, and the reason I used my Stamparatus was because when I made this card, I started out and tried it the first time. This did not come out as dark as I wanted it to come out with doing it, just stamping it once, and you can't restamp and get it in the exact same spot. So that's where the Stamparatus comes in very handy, and we're going to use it today just in case something doesn't work exactly as we would like it to work. So you want to keep your other side nice and flat, so that's why I just put my my stamp case in there to make it nice and flat. So the pieces that you need are a base, card base of cardstock, which is 11 by 4 1/4. So I've cut an 8 1/2 piece this way, as opposed to cutting it the other way. We're going to be doing it in the landscape orientation. A piece, any size you like. You can make it as big as you want on the inside, or not as big as you want. I think this one's like 3 1/2 by 4, something like that. Anyways, and that's just going to be your sentiment piece. And we will do a little bit of stamping on that as well. You need a layer that's going to go on here. That is, I just did an 1/8 of an inch border on this one. So 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. You need a second layer, which is going to be the background for your top piece, which is 5 by 3 3/4. And I went ahead and embossed this one only because my embossing, my Big Shot's been giving me a problem lately, so I didn't want to be fighting with it on screen. I used my embossing folder, that's the brick embossing folder, but you could actually use any design you like behind there. I think you don't see a whole lot of it when the card's made anyway, and this one I used, it looks like a marbled floor. It's another one that I have. But anyways, this is the brick one, and that's going to get mounted on that layer. And then you have the layer that we're actually going to stamp on. It is exactly the same as my embossed layer for now, but we're actually going to be trimming this once we get our stamping done. And then you need a piece of cardstock for your sentiment and for the background of the sentiment. So those are the pieces that you need. So let's do this piece first, and it doesn't really matter where you put it in your Stamparatus, but you're just going to want to put your magnet on there. And then place your first one sort of off the edge of your card. And make sure you've got it as tall as the paper is. You don't want a whole lot of stem. You want to fill as much of the card as you can. So, but you want to kind of half the tree off in this particular case. Then close your lid. Hi, Debbie. Nice to see you. And we're going to start with our darkest, which is the Misty Moonlight. This one I'll probably find I won't need to stamp it twice, but we'll just use the Stamparatus just in case. Oh, let me get a bit more on the edges here. Maybe I will have to stamp it. We'll see. I'll give it a shot. Depends on the look you want. You could actually do this by, instead of doing 2 colors, you could just do it one stamped off, and another one stamped, and have it all more of a monochromatic look. Now we need to wipe this off because, again, we're going to place it in a different spot. So we'll just, I hope I'm in the picture here. I think I am. Just keep a little paper towel, make sure there's no water on here. My sponge is a little damper than it normally is. Oops, hang on. Get this edge. All right. Even if you do get a little bit of water, it's no big deal because you're going to stamp over it anyways. Let's move our magnet to that end now. And we're going to move over about 2/3 of the way on your card. Now you're going to trim some of this off. And you don't want to lose all of the other lighter ones. So stay, you don't need a whole lot in between there. If you made a bigger card, again, you could just do it a little bit wider, but we don't need it to be that wide. And we're going to do another dark one. Now, the difference between this and masking, like we did on when we did our Easter card, is you don't have to mask, because in this particular case, we want our colors to run together. We want them to be joined up completely. So, and I didn't double stamp these. I thought it looked just fine. That was dark enough for me. I didn't need it to be any darker. So even though we're using the Stamparatus, I didn't have to restamp that again. So we'll clean that off again. And we will stamp this again. Now, when I was making up the samples, and you'll see the other cards at the end, I thought to myself, well, not everybody's going to have this stamp, so I wonder if it would work with some other stamps. So now we're going to go back to, let's just place this one back over here again. We're going to go back here, and we're going to place this in between these two trees. And we're going to go with our lighter color. So let's just eliminate this for now. And this is our Balmy Blue. And just go right over top. There. And you're going to see this blends with this, which is fine. It's the look that we want. I don't think I want it any darker than that, so I'm not going to do it again. I want to make sure that there is quite a distinct difference from the dark color and the light color. But as I say, you could easily stamp this with your Misty Moonlight and do your next tree stamped off and just keep going instead of going back and forth the way we are right now. That would be another way of doing it as well. Okay, so we're going to move. Let's just, we can leave that right there. I'll move this over one more. Again, make sure you've got your trees at the top. You want a little bit of stem and a little bit of white down there. And our Balmy Blue again. And stamp it here. And there we have our piece. Okay, let me just clean this off quickly. We won't be needing our tree again, so we can put him back. But we are going to do, and I'm not going to use the Stamparatus to do the rest of the stamping that I need, so we're good with that. Get that out of the way. So, oh, hang on a second. I just got to grab an envelope. I forgot to grab one. So on our envelope, we're going to put the leaf on the envelope, and I'm going to do it in the lighter, in the Balmy Blue. So this is the leaf outline. You could use the butterfly as well, but in all honesty, I found the butterfly was my least favorite one. So let's just scrap piece of paper here so I don't muck up my base. Let's just stamp off our leaf on the corner, and stamping off, we're just going to stamp it on the back. It's going to be darker at the bottom and a little lighter at the top. And then our inside piece, we're going to do the same thing. Remember, it's running horizontal, so just need a little bit. I don't want a whole lot on that one. Just in the corner. Okay. So that's our stamping done. Get rid of these for the moment. And this one out of the way. And we'll put this. Okay. So now we're not going to be cleaning any more stamps. So now we can, if I can find where I put my base after I looked at all the pieces and showed you. Here we are. So let's mount our piece on the inside. Just so we don't have so many pieces floating around. And of course you can use anything you want to mount this with. Okay. And then we can do our layers that are here and have them done as well before we start our cutting. So your first layer, as I say, just an eighth, I hope I'm in the screen there, an eighth of an inch all the way around. And then our embossed layer. Now I want the popped up. Which side do I want? No, I don't want the popped up side. I want the side that the bricks that go down. So we're going to go this way. I did use 4 trees on the purple card, but by the time we cut that piece down, there wasn't much left for the 4th one. So that's why this time I put them a little bit closer when I did them. So that's why you don't see all 4 trees. Okay. So we're there. We're ready to go with that one. So now let's do the cutting, and our envelope's done. We'll stand it up there. So let's do our cutting. So I cut these pieces. Now we want to cut it before we cut them, the strips. We want to cut the size of our piece. And this was exactly the same size as our embossed piece of card. And we want to have a little bit of a border. We want to see a little bit of this embossing. So this is 5 and 5 by, hang on, layer. 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 was the second layer. The third one was 5 by 3 3/4. So I want to make this 4. Let's see, 5 by 3 3/4. Let's make this 4. I'd like to have a 1/4 of an inch around there, but I don't want to lose too much, and it doesn't look like I will lose too much here. So let's take 1/8 of an inch off the dark side. So we know that this is just 5. So let's make this 1/8 an inch off this side, because don't forget you're spacing. Actually, I might go a little bit more. You're spacing this apart a little bit, so you want to make sure. Let's do another 1/8 of an inch just to make sure that we have enough once we space those that we're not going to be right out at the end. And then on this one, we'll take the same 1/4 of an inch off this end. So now we're at, take 1/4 of an inch off this end. So we do actually, in this one, we are going to have more of the 4th tree than we had in the first one. And then height-wise, I'm not going to take much off, but let's take it off the bottom where the stem is. Because I don't want a whole lot at the top. But we'll do the same thing. We'll do the 1/4 of an inch. This is 3 3/4. So we'll make this 3 1/2. All right. So now let's cut these in 3/4 inch strips. And luckily our Stampin' Up! Marker has an inch on this side, so I can use my 3/4 inch marker from this side and go across. So 1, we're going to try and keep these in order. 3/4, 2, you can play with them. If you get them out of order, don't worry about it. You can actually play with them and put them back. And you know, it actually wouldn't be even terrible if they were out of order. It just gives it a completely different look. And one more. Now you might have one strip that's a little narrower on the end, and that's okay too. Okay, so there's our strips. We're just going to try and keep them in order. I don't need this for the moment. Okay, so now we're going to mount these directly on our embossed piece. And it might have been easier if I'd kept this from, if I hadn't mounted that first. Let's just lay them out. You want one up, one down. There's no right or wrong. They don't have to be exactly the same. You just want to try to keep the distance between them as close as possible. And just by testing it this way, you can find, but this doesn't have to match this. It doesn't have to be up as high. And this one doesn't have to be. You just want to make sure that you're going to end up with the same space at each end of the card. So that's kind of why we're just placing them here for now. Hi, Barb, from across the street. Thanks for watching. Okay, so And this is our neighbors, our wonderful neighbors that shoveled our laneway for us the other day while we were away. Okay. So, so we're good. I think I might even take, let me just see. I don't want to, yeah, I think we'll be fine. Okay. So now we're going to place them, and they're going to be one glued down. The next one's going to be raised up with the dimensionals, one glued down, and the next one raised up. So we're going to start by gluing putting the first one down. You can use glue, or you can use, I'm going to move this in a little bit closer so I can see what I'm doing. So now we know that we don't have much room to leave anything here. So we're going to just make sure that's straight, and this one is down. So our next one's going to be with dimensionals, and we're going to pop it up. Let's just raise this one up higher. Keep the distance the same, but make that one on your card a little higher. This one we're going to put down. Oh, this tape runner does not want to work for me. Mary Lou, I hope our glue is coming in soon because I'm almost out of glue. This one we're going to pop up. Okay, so this one. So of course these don't match up, and that's the whole point of the whole thing. You don't want them matched like this so that you can see them. It just gives it a complete, not that it's wrong, but it would give it just a totally different look. You want that space in between. So to me, I found that while I was playing with this one, as much as I didn't like it when I first saw it, it makes a beautiful background stamp. Oops, I got a little bit of glue there that I don't want there. Okay, let's put this one down flat. And then this one we're going to pop up. So by doing this, it gives it some dimension. So one of the challenges we have for our upcoming team meeting is to make our own background paper, DSP, and then make as many cards out of that DSP as we can. And this would be a great stamp to do that with. Now, as you see, I got a little bit more on this edge than I have on that edge. So if I had planned that a little bit better, we might have come out at the end, but I'm okay with that. I'm happy with that. I think it looks great. So that's our basic background. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but there is actually, your dimensions make that pop up and give it a really nice dimensional look. So now we're going to cut our sentiment. And I'll bring in my little tiny embossing. I'm stamping up embossing. This is the mini one. Something I learned just very recently. If you're having trouble with your plates, your plastic plates warping, store them in your machine, and that helps to keep them flat. On this machine, it defeats the purpose because this one actually folds up so nice and neatly that this part would be out of the way, but you have to leave it out if you're going to store them that way. But still, it just helps to keep them. I noticed on my big machine, it really, really helped when I started doing that because my plates were warping terribly. Okay, so we want the background die to be in the dark blue. So we'll do that one first. Oh, the glue's in. Awesome. Mary Lou, that's awesome. Okay. So I'll run this through. Now, you could actually definitely do these sentiment dies, not necessarily this one because it's, it's got lots of room on the back for glue, but this one is going to be thinner, and you could actually do it with double-sided tape. Double-sided sticky sheets that we carry, and then that just means you cut it out and you peel it off the back. But I found that I liked the glue because it gave me more time to make sure I had it placed exactly where I wanted it to be placed. So that's why I didn't bother going with the double-sided sheets. Okay, so there's our thanks. Stuck in the back of there. We haven't got it out yet. I'll get rid of that. And we'll put this out of the way. So handy. It's so small and so easy to use. And we'll get rid of our dies. Except what did I do with the white one I just cut? Now, did I... Okay, then. Oh, it's in here. I need my pick tool. Get that out of there. There we go. All right, so now we are going to mount. This looks like I got a bit of ink on the back of that white, but that's okay. So now we need our glue. And I must get some of the glue that Stampin' Up! Carries that has a very fine tip point. I keep meaning to order some, and I keep forgetting to do that. So I'm just going to get my silicone sheet here so I'm not getting glue all over my paper. All right, so I just kind of put a little bit of glue on the bigger areas, and it's stuck on quite well. I didn't have to worry about doing the whole thing. If you do it carefully, it's not going to stick out anywhere or cause you any problems. Just a little dot there so that that end sticks. All right, so now we're going to mount this on our thanks. As I said, I liked to do it this way because it gave me some time to move it around before it got solid to make sure I had that shadow where I wanted it. There we go. And if you get a little bit of glue that goes through, it's going to dry it clear anyway, so you're fine. So then this, we are going to use, I have some little tiny ones in here that I'm going to use on this, just because it doesn't take up as much space if I can find them. Bear with me here for a second till I find my little ones. Oh dear, got a zillion. I never throw them out because we use all these edge pieces too, just so that we're making sure we got, here's my little strips, I'll use those, that we get to use up everything. Scissors. Okay, so we'll just put some little strips on some of the bigger pieces. One there. One here. This is a little bit longer. This is a bit fiddly, but oops. Hang on. Okay, stay where you're supposed to stay and don't give me a hard time here. Okay, so we want this one here and this longer one here. And I think we need a little piece on the S as well. Oh, for crying out loud. All right, peel that off there. Okay, so I'm just going to mount this down here. Now I'm going to show you some samples of, give you some ideas. Now this, I just wanted to have this to have a little bit of sparkle on it, so I just added a little bit of Wink of Stella to this, just to give the words a little sparkle. I didn't even do the whole thing. I just kind of did I only did the white. I didn't do the blue. Wink of Stella is one of my favorite little items. Okay. Then our bow. You can use any number of things. You could use whatever colors you have, but I had a, this is our denim ribbon, and I kind of like the look of the dark blue on there, so we're going to use a denim ribbon bow, and I put that on with some glue dots. I want my big ones. Why am I having trouble finding everything today? Oh, these ones will work too. So, a couple of glue dots. See where we want them. I'll use 2 good ones just to make sure that they're on there. Pop our bow on there. And what is a card without some bling? So I have some of the 2021 to 2023 in color jewels. And there's one, these ones are kind of iridescent and they change colors the way you look at them. So I certainly don't want pink, but I think that these bottom ones tend to do a bluey green. This one's blue. That might work too. Let's try the blue ones. They also change and look a little bit green. So I'll put one up by the bow. I only have little ones left here now, but that's okay. I'll put one here. Remember the rule of embellishments are odd numbers. So 3 or 5. So let's do 5. And one there. And there we go. Get this out of the way. So that was a quick little card, but a quick way to use, as I say, a stamp set that you might look at and go, oh, I don't really know if I like that. And yet, when you do use it, you find that it looks totally different. So there's our card with our envelope. This is the butterfly as well. It's quite pretty. I did use it on one of the other cards, so I will show it to you. But again, this would make a lovely background stamp or just a stamp by itself. So let me show you what I did with a couple of other samples. So this one, I used, I wrote the numbers, Pale Papaya and Pool Party. And I liked the 2 colors together, but when I went to make the card, using the backing of either the Pool Party or the Pale Papaya just didn't give me enough definition, so I went with the black. And once I made the black shadow, I thought, oh, well, I think I need the embellishments need to be black. So this one I used the little stars, and this is our beautiful, it's in I think it's in the annual catalog. This is our black organza ribbon, which is really pretty. It's got a sparkle in it as well. So that's one of the ones I did. And then I got thinking, well, okay, so if we can do this background by making stripes, why can't we use something else? I woke up early in the morning before it was even time to get up, and it was still going around in my head. What could I do this? How could I do it? So I got some circle punches out, and I did, this one is, hang on, Fresh Freesia and Pool Party. And then I used my blending brushes and did the outside in Gorgeous Grape, and my background is Gorgeous Grape. Got out my little dragonfly punch and punched a couple little dragonflies, and then added the sparkle with the dragonflies. And I like the look of that as well. It's just a completely and totally different look for the same idea of the card. So, you know, whatever however you want to do it. It could be squares, could be triangles. There's a beautiful set of triangle dies in the catalog, which I do not have, but that would be really pretty in triangles as well. And then I thought, okay, so not everybody has this stamp, so will it lend itself doing this technique with other cards? So I do have another set that's called Blessings of Home. And so I thought, well, I'm going to see what I can do with the Blessings of Home stamp set, which is a bigger stamp set, because this design kind of warrants a bigger stamp set. I mean, you could do it with a bunch of little ones by making your sheet first, I guess, but I just thought it looked better with a bigger stamp set. So I did it with that stamp set, and then I made it like a background paper. And what I did with this one, because this is more of a distinctive style stamp, and it stamps your background, this just stamps the outline. So I stamped the outline using my Stamparatus so that I could get some other fill-ins from some different stamps that I had. And then I used my blending brush, one of our Stampin' Up! Blenders, and I used a little bit of ink, taking my ink pad and squishing the ink pad nice and solidly down, and you'll get a bit of ink onto your lid. And I just use that like you do with watercolors when you're watercoloring, and use that to extend the color out a little bit farther on them. When I stamp them, I use my Stamparatus, and I just want to show you what I did with that, because that was just a little bit different technique. So let me just show you what I did. I got a scrap piece of paper over here somewhere. Let me just grab a small piece out of here. Okay, so I took my stamp set, my stamp pad, and I put it, I'm just going to put it randomly just so I can show you. And I took a dauber, a sponge dauber. I only have one left. The rest are all gone. And my ink pads that I want, the colors that I wanted to use. So we'll just grab a color. So this is blueberry. Let's just grab this one. And I did each. I certainly don't wreck my new nails here. Okay. I did each of the colors individually. Started with my lighter one, because that's the trick. If you're gonna use the same dauber, you got to start with your lighter one. I want to make sure that I'm in the screen and you can see this, so you can see what I'm doing here. Again, let's pop this underneath here. Okay, and I just did the areas that I wanted to do. So in this particular case, I just want to do that big flower, but I'm not being particular. Yeah, it's going to run over onto the next flower. Yes, it's going to run over onto the leaves, and that's okay too. Now, if you wanted to do that center a different color, you could avoid the center. I just colored the center afterwards. I didn't actually worry about that. And then stamped it. If it wasn't dark enough, you just did it again. Then I came back in with my next color, did the next set of flowers that are over here in my next color, cleaning it off in between, of course, and then stamped it again. And that's how I got the outlines, but you wouldn't have to do that. You could just do your outline in black if you wanted, and then you could do the colors afterwards. It wouldn't make any difference. The reason I did this with the colors is the Stampin' Up! Ink pads will run with the blender, and I wanted that. I wanted that some of that blue to run when I used my blender. So that's the reason that I did it the way I did with the two different colors, just to give you an idea of what I did with that. And then I did some Wink of Stella on the flowers, cut my pieces same as I did with the very first one, and made the card. And this one's actually for our daughter who got engaged on Friday. So this is an engagement card for her. I'm sure she's not watching, so she won't see it. So we'll send this out to her. And I just wrote, "You two have something really special for each other. Congratulations. Congratulations, you're engaged." And this is our punch, our tag punch. So I punched it out of white, stamped it, punched it out of the gorgeous grape, cut it in half so I could have these backings on each end just to have a little bit of color behind. And then I stamped a little purple flower on the envelope as well. Didn't worry about coloring that, just stamped it as well. So it does the technique of doing the raised and lowered does lend itself to a number of stamps that you might have. You don't absolutely have to have the stamp, although I do love how that looks when it's cut up. So you can rest assured I'll probably make a few more. You can also just use a normal sentiment on that and have it popped up. There is a happy birthday die that we have that doesn't have a backing, but it's a solid color. If you did it in a solid color, that would fit on top and look perfect as well. So I hope you've enjoyed these. I hope you liked the cards that we did. Oh, hi, Leah. I'm glad to see you. Thanks for joining me. And next Sunday, we'll be back here again. Don't forget, this will be on my YouTube channel, probably by Tuesday at the latest. So go on, check it out. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you do check it out. And then should get notification of anything that comes up on YouTube. I will invite the people that are here today. I will invite you for our next one next Sunday. So you should get a little invite that lets you know that the live is coming up. But thank you again for joining me. Hope you have a wonderful Sunday. and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.